In this video, you'll discover how to lose fat without exercising. Hey Wellness Warrior, I'm Dr. Nick Zarowski, and a patient of mine recently asked me this very same question. How can I lose fat without exercising? And I thought to myself, you know what? This is information that you would really benefit from. This individual who I was working with, they had a situation to where they couldn't exercise, but I know that a lot of people, whenever you're trying to lose weight, you just rely on exercise to accomplish that. But I'm going to teach you how to not do that, and at the end, we'll even talk about, is exercise even necessary anyway? Let's dive in. The first two things we want to focus on if we want to lose weight and lose fat without exercising is we want to lower inflammation in our body and fix our metabolism. Let's talk on why that's so important. In order to actually have the physiological state within your body to lose fat and cut weight, the first thing you have to do is lower inflammation and fix your metabolism. When you lower inflammation, it allows your hormones to balance. And when you balance your metabolic hormones, and you lower insulin levels, you actually find yourself in a physiological state where you start burning fat for energy. And that's where fat loss comes from. Lowering inflammation is not only important to prevent diseases in the future, but it's important for a healthy cell and hormone to function properly. And also fixing your metabolism. If you have high blood sugar and high insulin levels and all these bad things going on in your body, you literally cannot access that fat loss state. So we have to fix your metabolism. We're going to keep moving on. We'll circle back to these two topics in just a second because they're important. However, we're going to talk about the how for a second. Infrared saunas are also highly beneficial. There's a really interesting study, and what they found is that by just using an infrared sauna 3 times a week over the course of 3 months, individuals lost 4% body fat. So that's pretty cool. Personally, I like to use a sauna. I use it about 2 to 3 times a week in order to just help myself stay healthy. There's so many benefits to using saunas, such as fixing your metabolism and lowering inflammation, but also it can even support the weight loss process. So if you have access to an infrared sauna, or maybe you even have one in your home, these are so great. And you don't have to go get those big, massive, expensive saunas. You can actually find those little ones that are just like a little tent. They pop up and you put a chair in them and zip them up. Those things are fantastic. And that's what I use most of the time myself. Now let's talk about low carb diet. But before we do, I have to tell you this. Social media has become increasingly hostile towards natural health channels like this. Instead of allowing you to get information like this, they constantly promote the traditional Western medicine style of healthcare. And the whole reason you came to YouTube or any of these other social media platforms to begin with was probably to learn natural methods. Because you probably won't get my messages on social media every time I put them out, I highly encourage you to go and click in the link below this video and sign up for my newsletter. We'll tell you whenever new content comes out, especially content that we can't even put here on social media anymore because it will get us censored. Click on the link in the description below this video, sign up for my newsletter, learn the cutting edge health tactics that are out there, and stay on the razor's edge of natural health so that you can make sure that you're always working to improve your health naturally. Let's go ahead and continue on talking about a low carb diet. This is very important when it comes to fat loss. I'm going to tell you why. Because when you follow a low carb diet, you're driving down blood sugar, you're driving down insulin levels in your body, and once again, you're allowing yourself to get to that fat burning state. This is where a lot of people get confused about fat loss. They don't know how it happens. They think, well, maybe I'll just starve myself, or maybe, I'll just wish that fat loss would happen to me. But if you follow these methods that I'm sharing with you, it is literally a process. You follow the process, you will lose weight. So following a low carb diet, I like to go about 100 grams of carbohydrates or less per day, sticking to only eating healthy carbohydrates. Carbohydrates that actually come from nature, like a potato, a sweet potato, carbohydrates that are found in vegetables. Stick to good, healthy carbohydrates. And then make sure that in this low carb diet, you're doing no sugar at all. And no sugar doesn't mean that you can never have anything sweet. Use natural alternatives like stevia and allulose and monk fruit and erythritol. Use those natural alternatives because they're going to be better for you. And then the other thing that you want to do in this low carb diet is cut grains out completely. Because you know what I said before? We're going to circle back. Grains drive inflammation in your body. Inflammation blocks fat loss. Cut the grains out to lower inflammation. It's so important. Now let's talk about fasting. Fasting is something you can do in order to cut fat. One of the amazing things about fasting is when you're in a fasted state, you drop your blood sugar, you drop your insulin levels, you fix your metabolism, and that is absolutely necessary. And now you are in a physiological state to access burning fat. So when I say fasting, what am I talking about? Well, we could do 16 and 8 intermittent fasting where we're fasting for 16 hours, eating all of our meals within an 8-hour window. We could do something like 1 meal a day where we're fasting for, 22 hours and eating our meals within a 2-hour window. You could do a 24-hour water fast, a 48-hour water fast, a 3-day water fast, or even just do a bone broth fast. That's where I first started. When I started fasting is I would do bone broth fasts. I would do 2 and 3-day bone broth fasts and loved them. So when you're fasting, you are not going to burn muscle, you preserve muscle, and your body targets the fat, all while resetting your metabolism and getting you to a fat burning state. Here's what you want to do next is reduce stress. And you might think that this isn't that big of a deal, but what the research shows is that when you're stressed, it increases cortisol in your body, this stress hormone. This stress hormone increases your blood sugar, and it also increases your appetite, making you eat more calories throughout the day. So as you increase your blood sugar and increase your insulin levels, it does the opposite of fixing your metabolism. It makes it worse. It makes us crave more sugar. It makes you head down a path that you don't want to head down. If you're stressed, it causes you not to sleep well. And when you don't sleep well, you eat more calories throughout the day, causing you to gain weight. When you're stressed, it causes cravings in your body, causing you to eat more sugar, causing you to gain weight. So anything you can do to reduce stress and reduce cortisol in your body is a huge plus. Now let's talk about exercise for a minute. Is this even necessary, right? We have so many great things that we can do to start losing fat right now without exercise. Do we need it? Well, the fact is, and the hard fact on this, and though you may not want to hear this, exercise is absolutely genetically required by your body to thrive. And you don't have to become the next Olympic athlete. You hear me say this all the time. But what you need to do is you need to focus on getting at least 30 minutes of exercise in per day. That may just be a brisk walk to where you're getting your heart rate up and you're kind of breathing a little bit heavier. And maybe that's it. But that is still something, and that is still good. There's plenty of research that shows that when you get that 30-minute walk in a day, that brisk walk, you reduce your risk of heart disease and heart attack and dementia and diabetes and so many really awful health conditions. So you want to make sure that you're exercising. And for some reason, if you absolutely can't remember, these are some of the hard facts that you can stick to that will absolutely drive you down a path to weight loss. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Dr. Nick Zarowski. And if you did, watch this one right over here next.